welcome back and welcome to my wrap up of the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I recorded my Snap story whilst I was doing the readathon, so I'm going to insert some of that footage. But I will tell you what I read first of all and then show you the highlights of hour by hour where we got to. So I read just over 1,500 pages altogether, and I'm very proud of myself because I stayed up the whole 24 hours, which I haven't done before when I've been doing one of these readathons. As I said in my TBR, it was a different time for me. It used to be that I read from 1 p.m. to 1 p.m. And this readathon I read from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. So once 6 a.m. hit, I went back to sleep and slept till midday. So that's how it was a little bit different. So I'll tell you exactly what I read and then I'll insert that footage so you can see all the fun that I had and all the coffee that I drank. So the first book that I finished was The Last Piece of My Heart by Paige Toon. I read this book in its entirety and it is the first one that I read. And this one came in at 400 pages. Then the second complete book that I read was Wing Jones by Catherine Webber. This was just under 400 pages and I read this book from start to finish during the readathon. I also listened to an entire audiobook. I listened to the audiobook of Binge by Tyler Oakley. That was really good fun. I can really recommend that one, and I think I'm going to make a video about that one, so look out for that one coming soon. And I also listened to Men Explain Things to Me, which is a collection of essays, sort of feminist essays, because I was left with about 2 hours of the readathon remaining, and I just wanted to listen to an audiobook, and I actually had this one and it comes in at around about 2 hours, so I listened to that one as well. I finished listening to the audiobook of All Fall Down by Jennifer Weiner. I had about 70 pages of this left, so I finished listening to that one, which was just under an hour. I also listened to the final 20 minutes or so, which equates to about 20 pages of Down Under by Bill Bryson. I'd been listening to this one with my husband, so we had a little break and listened to that one together. I also read about 118 pages, very specific, I know, a bit shiny this one, 118 pages of The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. The reason I read that specific amount and didn't just finish this book is because I'm doing this as a buddy read with someone on Twitter, and so I didn't want to read ahead. But I also had a discussion with that person about the first 100 pages that we'd read during the readathon, so that was fun. And then the final kind of physical book that I read was Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. I wanted to read this as part of the readathon because it was a collection of short stories, so I thought it might be good to dip in and out of. But I found myself that, like, I don't know if it was the readathon or just in general, some of these short stories I just couldn't get along with. So I reckon I read in completion about half of them. So we're calling this one about 125 pages. And I may come back to it, I may not. I'll see if I'm sort of more in the mood for one of the short stories that didn't grab me. It may just be because I was reading it towards the end of 24 hours of reading. I'm not sure. So that one also counts as kind of a whole book, but only the 125 pages of it. So it depends what you think that constitutes as. So yeah, so I am really pleased with what I read. I'm really pleased that I stayed up the whole amount of time. If you agree with me, if you think I did a good job, then please give this video a thumbs up. I will also be doing a blog post on this wrap up, and so you can find the link to my blog in the description below. And now, hopefully, you're going to have the footage from my Snapchat story. If you're not already following me on Snapchat, then you can add me on there. My username is just FabBookFiend, same as it is on Twitter. And you can generally see how I'm getting on with what I'm reading and what I'm doing when I'm not reading as well on there. It's I like Snapchat, it's good fun. If you're not already, please subscribe to me on here and I will have a new video for you soon. So I will leave you with me. Bye. So we are now at the end of hour 8 of the readathon, about to enter hour 9. So that's a third of the way through. and I have about 70 pages left to go in this one, and I've read about a third of my audio. And of course I'm still wearing my pyjamas and have had several big drinks. Thank goodness for big drinks. And because we're doing a buddy read of this one, I've read 50 pages of this one and we'll read another 50 tomorrow. So we are at the end of hour 13, the beginning of hour 14, and I am just over 100 pages into this. I finished the last piece of My Heart by Paige Toon. That's 400 pages and 50 pages of The Trouble with Goats and Sheep. I also listened to some more of Binge by Tyler Oakley, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through that now. And I am just about to finish the last of my tea and switch over to wine because it's that time of night. So we are now on hour 18, halfway through hour 18 of the readathon, and I have finished my second whole book. I finished reading Wyn Jones by Catherine Webber, and I am now going to finish listening to Binge by Tyler Oakley. And now I am going to have a lovely bubble bath and listen to that audiobook. Hour 18 going strong. So we are just entering hour 21. I have finished my third full book, which was Binge by Tyler Oakley, which means that in terms of full books that I've read 1,100 pages, and then I read some more of The Trouble with Goats and Sheep. So I've read about 110 pages of that today. I finished off Down Under by Bill Bryson, and now I'm going to maybe do some more physical book and finish off All Fall Down by Jennifer Weiner on audiobook. And I do have a Diet Coke here to keep me going for the next 4 hours. Right, I've got just less than an hour of my audiobook left, so I'm going to listen to the final little bit in bed. But that will mean that I've read 4 total books, and my page count at the end is just over 1,500. I think I counted it on my blog post, and it's 1,577 pages altogether. So we are just at the start of hour 24. I haven't fallen asleep. I've been up this whole time. I think I'm going to go lie down now. But it's been really good fun, and I've enjoyed most of the things that I've read. I can't wait for the next readathon.